power slap represents the rawest form of human combat. No gloves, no takedowns, no submission holds, just pure striking power delivered straight to an opponent's unprotected face. You are about to witness the 10 most devastating knockouts in power slap history. Moments where lives changed in the blink of an eye, underdogs became legends, and champions proved why they wear the crown. These are the top 10 power slap knockouts that didn't just end fights, they made history. Number 10. Sheena Bathory versus Christine Wolmarans. When South Africa's Christine Wolmarans stepped up to face Hungary's Sheena the Hungarian Hurricane Bathory, few expected the storm that was about to be unleashed. The first round established the tone. Bathory absorbed Wolmarans' initial strike with ice-cold composure, even blowing a kiss afterwards. As the commentators noted, she's got to have balls of steel, although they quickly acknowledged the anatomical impossibility. This psychological warfare set the stage for what was coming. Round 2 began with Bathory lining up her shot with laser focus. While her first round slap had been somewhat of a warm-up, what followed was nothing short of catastrophic. The impact created a sound that one commentator described as a thudding noise, and Wolmarans immediately collapsed. The way she fell was particularly disturbing. Her head bounced off the table before her body froze completely. But as impressive as the Hurricane was, our next champion showed why the crown rarely changes hands. Number 9. The Bell versus Phillips. The clash between heavyweight champion Damien "The Bell" DeBell and challenger Ryan "King of Kings" Phillips demonstrated the latter in devastating fashion. The early rounds had been somewhat underwhelming, with one commentator noting it looked like a little bit like a pillow fight. Phillips, confident to the point of dancing between rounds, seemed to be ahead on scorecards. The champion, however, was biding his time. In the fourth round, after a deep inhale that has become his signature, DeBell unleashed what the announcer called the biggest slap of the night. The torso twist he added generated extra power, and Phillips, who had never before been knocked out, went down like a box of rocks, out like a light. While championship power is impressive, our next entry proves that sometimes true justice is delivered through the perfect palm. Number 8. Turpin versus Kathy. The build-up to this match was filled with controversy. Turpin had missed weight by a significant margin, coming in at roughly 225 to 230 pounds for a 205-pound contest. Kathy, known as a consummate professional, was visibly disgusted by this lack of professionalism. When the action began, Turpin's approach was unorthodox at best. His wind-up had what commentators described as a ballerina flair to it, drawing criticism for not delivering the violence fans expected. Kathy, meanwhile, remained stoic, focused, and determined. In round 2, Kathy delivered what can only be described as divine retribution. The commentators called it the hand of God, as Turpin immediately collapsed, then attempted to rise only to fall back down to what they colorfully described as doing the Humpty Hump. From professional payback to international dominance, our next knockout crossed continents. Number 7. Keali Kanikoa versus Darren Godfrey. International rivalries have defined combat sports for generations, and when Hawaii's Keali Kanikoa faced England's Darren the Tarantula Godfrey, what transpired became an instant classic in power slap's globalization. This minor victory emboldened the Hawaiian, who chose the aggressive on-1 countdown for his strike. This strategy would prove costly. Godfrey, not to be outdone, also demanded the on-1 count for his response. What followed was textbook striking perfection. The Englishman didn't just hit Kanikoa, he hit through him, following the most fundamental principle of effective striking. The impact was so catastrophic that Kanikoa's head pushed into the table before his body crumpled. As impressive as international talent may be, our next entry showcases a homegrown champion's ability to adapt and overcome against all odds. Number 6. Hamlet versus Cathy. The rematch, a fundamental pillar of combat sports history. When Vernon Cathy stepped up to face Devlin, the county hoodlum Hamlet, for the second time, both men had something to prove, but only one would add their name to the power slap history books. Round 1 went decisively to Hamlet, leaving Cathy needing to adjust his strategy. The commentators noted Cathy seemed too amped up and possibly trying to put on too much of a show rather than focusing on technique. Something needed to change. When Cathy finally stepped up for his second round strike, the transformation was complete. The impact created an almost delayed reaction. Hamlet initially stood, then face planted onto the desk before falling backwards, completely unconscious. If resilience impresses you, wait until you see what happens when Hawaiian gods enter the arena. Number 5. Pono Pao versus Cooper Housley. When Cooper Housley flinched during measurement against Pono, the Hawaiian assassin Pao, he unwittingly set the stage for one of the most emotionally charged knockouts in Power Slap history. The flinch gave Pao a free strike, but far from demoralizing the 268-pound Hawaiian, this perceived disrespect ignited his fury. Between rounds, cameras caught Pao bouncing up and down, swearing, and speaking to what commentators half-jokingly described as the gods of Hawaiian war. When Pao finally got his legitimate strike, the arena's atmosphere had noticeably changed. The impact literally rendered Housley unconscious, out like a light. The medical team had to gently lay him down. When the commentators noting his condition, the eyes are open, the lights are off, but nobody's home. Divine rage may be powerful, but championship heart defines our next unforgettable moment. Number 4. Isaiah Quiones versus Brandon Bordeaux. Combat sports history is filled with miraculous comebacks, but few rival the dramatic turnaround when Isaiah Pretty Boy Quiones faced Brandon Bordeaux in their championship clash. The early exchanges established Bordeaux, described vividly by commentators as a man who slaughters animals for a living, as the dominant force. His first slap was ridiculously powerful, and his manual labor background had given him a different kind of functional strength that was translating perfectly to the slap table. What happened next etched this match into Power Slap lore. With the title slipping away and still visibly compromised from the previous strike, Quiones summoned what can only be described as championship metal. His counter-strike sent Bordeaux crashing to the canvas. Yet no comeback compares to our next entry, where legend became a reality in one strike. Number 3. Dumpling versus Maru Sars. Some combat sports legends transcend their discipline through sheer charisma and mystique. When the one-named phenom Dumpling made his Power Slap debut against Camille Maru Sars, the build-up felt like the arrival of a mythical figure. When the action began, Dumpling's wind-up became an instant signature moment, a dramatic motion that telegraphed the devastation to come. The impact was so horrific that Maru Sars was out for the count, fast asleep. What makes this knockout historically significant is how it instantly elevated a debut fighter to legendary status. The 5'9", 350-pound living legend had delivered exactly what his mythology promised. The slow-motion replay revealed the clinical brutality. The eyes roll back in the head, the lights are off, and they ain't coming back on for quite some time. From instant stardom to a complete paradigm shift, our next knockout rewrote the rules. Number 2. Vern Cathy versus AJ Hints. This match began with Cathy winning the coin toss and electing to strike first. Commentators emphasize Hints' neck strength, the strongest in the house, as the key factor in whether he could survive Cathy's notorious power. When Cathy landed his signature shot, Hints went down hard, but defied all expectations by getting back to his feet within the count. Now came the true test. Cathy, who had never been on the receiving end of a Power Slap strike, had to face Hints' return fire. Hints delivered a strike so devastating that Cathy went down instantly, with the commentators noting the disturbing detail that, the wrist bending back, there was no chance of him getting up after that. But nothing compares to our top spot, where one slap introduced millions to Power Slap forever. Number 1. Hawaiian Hitman versus Slap for Cash. When Dane the Hawaiian Hitman Fiernes faced the aptly named Slap for Cash, the physical disparity was immediately apparent. The early rounds established a pattern. Slap for Cash showed tremendous heart, but was clearly outmatched by Fiernes' superior technique and power. By the final round, commentators were openly concerned about the fighter's safety, noting, "I hope these catchers are ready." What followed was the embodiment of controlled violence. The Hawaiian Hitman, described as almost 400 pounds of Hawaiian barbecue beef, delivered a strike so catastrophic that even the world's strongest man had no chance of keeping him from going down. This single knockout became the clip shared around the world, the moment that defined Power Slap in the public consciousness. Which knockout did you find most shocking? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.